Good afternoon from the Crow Cottage. This is Kathy Crow. This is the Crow Cottage. It's pretty hot. I went out on a bike ride. Oh boy, I tried to get myself out early this morning, but no, it was 11:30 when I finally got myself out there, and it wasn't too bad. It was hot. It's going to be hotter. And so I was glad I got out as early as I did. I felt like, oh, thank you, God. You put that cloud right over the sun for me, because half the ride back where the sun's always blazing in my face actually was clouded. It was covered with the sun was temporarily covered with a cloud. So it was wonderful. And today, because this is going to be Father's Day this Sunday, so those of you who have fathers that you are kind of forgetting about, don't forget them. This is a Good Man. This is one of our best stamp sets, I think, ever, because it has such great sentiments. I'm going to just make a personal comment here. So this is not a reflection on any of the artistry or any of the work done on stamps in general. I'm talking about the whole world of stamps, not just Stampin' Up. This is just me. Okay, and my perspective is, hi there, Sylvia. Having breakfast, awesome. Good for you. You got the whole day. It's supposed to be almost 100 here today. I wonder what it is in New Zealand. But going back to what I said, in the whole world of stamps, most of the sentiments are a little sticky, syrupy, sweet. Okay, I'm just going to say that's my perspective, and I don't mind that. I can work with it. You can always take hi, Freddie. You're so cute. I'm so glad you are here. And I don't know how many with our kids, one of our kids living in Boise, Idaho, and it's only 1 hour difference, but you would not believe how complicated that makes life for me, because I never get the time right when I'm saying, okay, we'll be there then, or I'm going to do this here then, because I do some of my Facebook Live with some of those people. And so anyway, my time. Thank you, Freddie, for sharing. Hi, Marty. So anyway, I understand completely about the time change issue. But back to a Good Man. Okay, so this one has I grew up loved. It also has being a good dad starts with being a good man. I mean, how general and wonderful is that? That's so true and so good. And then it also has I'm putting it on the inside of my card. You do a great job for being a great guy. It also has a relax your way for this guy who's reclining there. And so anyway, this has wonderful sentiments in it that is often neglected in the world of card making, which tends to be more feminine. There's sometimes a lack of just good old guy stuff that's not car, sports, or camping related. Okay, now I'm done ranting about that. Now, having said that, for my card, I did have to break out my old Wherever You Go stamp just for this sun. Oops, my hand. There it is. The sun in this one is the best one that I have, so I did break this out, but other than that, it's all new. Now, I do want to just say one more quick thing before I get started. 3 hours difference, Freddie, you're good. And it is a nice stamp set. I'm glad you like it, Marty. I do too. The other thing that I needed to mention is that for those of you, hi Ron, this is kind of cool. I'm glad I have somebody watching that's probably not a crafter. I'm not so sure. Maybe you are a crafter. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Stampin' Up. This is your month. If you are a demonstrator, this is your month to make it or break it. And if you aren't going to just let your demonstratorship go this month, I am sorry, but I understand. And if you do, though, make sure you order what you want to order before you lose your 20% discount, okay? So now that sales pitch is done, and I am going to swing us down, and we're going to play with some coloring today. I know I did coloring with my Magnolia stamp earlier, but I'm going to do it again because I just keep having constant questions about coloring. So I'm thinking, well, we'll do that. We're going to do a Good Man stamp set. That one goes really quick. And I see I forgot one of my ribbons, and I'll have to cut that. And I also I'm going to switch this down, so beware as the camera jiggles. I also have a guy coming to finish our garden window. I finally have in my house now a window that I can put my plants in and overwinter some plants. I'm so excited about it. It's actually going to be really nice, I think. I hope. And well, the window is really nice. It was just that used to be our shed with gardening tools and our bicycles and our Christmas supplies. And so anyhow, it was, it always is smaller than you want it to be, right? I mean, it is for me. It'd be nice if we had a big house. Our house is about 1,200 square feet. That's actually being generous. It's probably more like 1,100 something. And so it's very hard to fit everything in. And we don't have a garage. So that's the other thing. Okay, so last night I very quickly made these cards. This is what I'm going to do. But I also am going to do oops, what's my sticky note? Oh, it's my colors. Another magnolia, just mainly to show you this highlighting on the leaf. And so we're going to stick that aside. And this is just an extra stray fishing basket from Best Catch that didn't happen to get put away. I have cut these things out and then they just get stuck on my desk. And last night, before I did this, I actually wanted to finish a bunch of card scraps, all over the place. And so I wanted to finish off my card scraps. So I made this one and this one. And I did a whole bunch. I did really like on Bird Ballad, the bird stamp set has this Forever Young stamp. I think that's cute. But it has a bunch of little ones. And, some of these I actually got from something else. Anyway, so I used up all of my scraps last night. And I'm very pleased. So these are going to go out today as birthday cards, I suspect, to people. I have a big list of birthday people that I need to get to. And one, actually, that is... I had to actually make a belated card for you, Freddie. I'm sorry, but I did. I made one of those. I don't remember which one it was, but it is a belated one just for you since I missed it. Okay, so I will still need to go cut my burlap ribbon. I did forget that. Oh, man, you know what I'm thinking? I am thinking I don't know if I have my oval handy. You can see I did the same sentiment, but I did it on two different sizes, and I'm not sure which size I actually am going to like best, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm kind of watching to see what my camera's picking up here. I better make sure that's coming in okay. We might want to move some things up. I've got a whole bunch of pens out because I was experimenting to see which ones I liked best. Okay, I think we're good as far as all that goes, so I can move some of these things aside. So this is going to be for our Good Morning Magnolia, and I'm going to set that aside because I just need Whisper White. Now, when I was coloring this, though, it did go through, and I kind of forgot my blending pens do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the back. I'm going to have to cut off the front and mount it anyway, although I was going for a very simple card. Being a guy-oriented card, I wanted it to be simpler, but, that actually just didn't really happen in a sense that it would have if I'd remembered that those bleed through, but I didn't. I totally forgot that they did. Okay, so 4 1/4, and then we're going to do a little score line at 5 1/2. Okay, and then then just fold that. And I could get my bone folder out, but I'm going to just leave it at that. And then we'll put that aside. Okay. All right, Marty, I'm glad you like that bird set. I do too. I keep stamping with it. I haven't, it's like I can't move on. I've got several like this. This is why I pulled this out, because I remembered at the last minute that it actually is Father's Day this Sunday. But I can't get these other stamps sets out because I just keep going back to that bird one. We've got our bird ballad class coming up pretty soon, and I'm hoping that maybe by the time that goes away, once I'm finished with that, I will be able to move on to some of my other ones that I've got. That I actually stamped a bunch of these last night, but I haven't gotten to coloring them yet. So for this sun, all you need is your Wherever You Go, and if you do not have this stamp set, then you could probably get it pretty cheap on eBay, I suspect. It's old, hasn't been too awfully long ago, I suppose, that it went out of business. But mine is, it's because it's the old cling one. It doesn't stick all that well, even though I've got a lot of tacky gunk on the back of it to try to get it to stick. It has a very shiny surface, so it doesn't always stick very well, but it seems to be doing pretty well. This is Mango Medley, and then I'm just going to stick this on the top, making sure that this center part of the sun is, I want it on this side for one of those cards. So I kind of, when I cut it, I'll have to trim it down a little bit because I just barely didn't get it as high as I wanted there. So, oh, Sylvie, not till early September, Father's Day. Well, that's interesting. I thought that Father's Day was like Mother's Day, a Hallmark card made up holiday that was universal for people that celebrated it all. Is Father's Day anywhere? Father's Day is, for us, is 1 month after Mother's Day, which is kind of nice because mothers always make sure that everybody remembers that it's Mother's Day. I know I do. And and that being the case, because everybody's made a big hoopla about Mother's Day, then since Father's Day is afterwards, there's no way you can forget Father's Day. You know it's coming. As soon as you've done Mother's Day, you know you have to be ready for Father's Day because it's like right away. So if Father's Day for us in the United States was later than Mother's Day, any later than 1 month, I'm afraid those poor dads would always be forgotten. Maybe I've got a very skeptical belief of human nature using early espresso here. And so you think it's already been in the UK for Mother's Day? Okay. Huh. I wonder if Mother's Day, it's May something, like May, boy, I don't remember the exact date of it, but it's May for us and for Mother's Day here. Okay, so we'll do this guy first. And now with these new ones, nice and sticky, I don't have to worry about it flopping around. And he's going to be relaxing right directly under the sun. Okay. And quick clean off. You can see my stamp, the chamois thing, whatever that thing is called. It's Simply Chamois. There we go. It's pretty well used, but it does the job. And then this one, he's going to be directly under the sun too. I really like this one. That one's good for a younger guy. And that one's going to my son. And then this one is going to go to Jeff. And I hope he didn't see me making it last night. We'll see. He might have, because he was in watching TV while I was doing all this. He usually does not come over and look to see what I'm doing. So I could be safe. I'll leave this out. I have to go hunt for a minute. I have to hunt for my, my shapes. Okay, both fathers and mothers have been already in the UK. Okay, so ours has two. I mean, our Mother's Day has, but yeah, I don't. Stitched shapes, there we go. I do not know how it would work for us if our if we had to have Father's Day way after Mother's Day. So this is stitched shapes. You can see I do not have fancy. I am not going to put my thinlits on dies. And I actually kind of liked it. I don't know. I'm a little torn because I like being able to see this ribbon better, but it was nice being able to work with the larger. I think we're going to just stick with what I did because this is wider. I think I'm going to just go ahead and cut the same oval shapes that I did already. And I could do a circle or something and really break out here, but I think we'll just do that. So we'll just grab some Whisper White again, and I'm just going to kind of cut it in half because I'll just be using this now as a scrap rather than anything. I keep knocking into my camera. I apologize for that, but that's because I'm sort of reaching across and trying to get things cut out over here on the side. So we'll run this through the Big Shot. Oops, I keep forgetting I'm not supposed to be the nameless cutting machine. So funny. All right. And I keep forgetting and using the wrong name too, because I should be calling them just dies, I suspect. So we get our ovals out from there. There. Okay, now we can put that away. All right, now we're back in business. Okay, your Mother's Day is the same as yours, but my daughter in the UK has hers earlier. Well, this is all very interesting. Hey, Mary Crow. This is my daughter, Mary. I wonder if she's watching right now or if she just liked my page. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to put the sentiment on a smaller block so I can manage this a little bit better. And Marty says she likes the sun. I like that sun too. I actually have quite a few suns from old sets, but this one's my favorite. Partly because it looks good and I don't have to color it. I don't have to do anything to it. It's nice, just as it is. Okay, so we're just using the being a good dad starts with being a good man. Love that. Okay, this is again just early espresso. We'll just put it on both of these, although this one I have to be a little more careful how I do it. Good, worked out. Okay, hey Mary, I'm glad you're watching. Marty, if you go to eBay, they have everything. I'm sure they have this wherever you go stamp set relatively cheap. You should not have to spend much for it if you want that sun. Or you can always just wait and Stampin' Up! Will eventually come out with one almost identical or better. You know, I mean, that's the one thing. Anymore, I used to go and buy old stamps quite often, and I did buy a few, you know, that I really wanted. But the fact is that there's so many new stamps every year that if you just wait, probably you're going to find something that you like. Okay, now I've got my little cheat list here. So I Stampin' Up! Has come out with a whole bunch more with their in colors. They're coming out with their in color blending pens, and I'm so thrilled because that means there's going to be some more light blending pens to work with. And I do use the dark blending pens too, but I'm finding that it's the light ones that are the hardest for me to find. So for my skin, I actually use this light petal pink, and then I got out the Copic R00 and the Copic E50. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the pink first. Okay, this is pinkish white, R00. And we're going to go all over because I didn't want him to just have, this actually is a very nice pink skin. He's got a little barefoot there. So if he hadn't been out in the sun at all and he didn't have a tan and he was a very Norwegian type person, then that pink would be great. But since we have the sun blaring overhead, we want to give him a little bit more of a tan. But when I add this color in, okay, now we're going more to the yellow spectrum. So I'm going back over with my pink, my petal pink, and still kind of doing that. So I guess I must have dragged in my E42. This is sand white. Yes. Okay, now I know you're thinking, why are you doing all of those colors? Well, it's because I have not yet found a good skin tone. This is how I get a good skin tone. So I just keep coloring until I come up, and hopefully it's the right shade. And if it's not, well, I just make it into the racial mix that it should be, that's going to coordinate with whatever it is I did, because I'm really not particular about what racial background my stamping people have. So that was actually the color I kind of was going for. So for this guy, the next one, we're gonna, yeah, that's why I'm naming these E42. This is the one. They're also terribly expensive. You can't afford to buy very many. And let's get out our ivory. Now, Stampin' Up! Has ivory, which is a very good tan color. But let me find it. It is just a tad darker than I want. This is ivory. Okay, ivory is good. But as you can see, that's way too tan. I do not want him to be that tan. But we will start with sand white this time and work backwards and not make it all pink at the very beginning. Because I already know now I'm going to be putting this on here. Okay, so we'll put his legs in. And, normally I would try to leave a little bit of white in there. I kind of forgot with his arms. I guess I do definitely want his neck dark. Leaving a little bit of white as you work gives you something to work with later. If you just color it all in right off, and then you're pretty much stuck with what color you have. You don't have a lot of ways to lighten it up. Okay, still not quite right, so we're going to add just a little bit of that third Copic pen. And I know I put my petal pink on there. I'm not sure that I needed to. Okay, so there. The skin is actually the part that I'm the most particular about. I don't really care so much about what the color of the clothes are, but I did use light balmy blue and for his shorts. Now, when you're using these blending pens, wherever your lines are on your diagram, on your image, then you're going to make those darker. So this time, instead of leaving anything white, because there's not a lot there for his shorts to leave white, I am just going to go over those lines a few times just to make sure they're nice and dark. That would be where the shadow is. And then the same thing with these pants. I'm going to just kind of go over the pants with one quick stroke, just to kind of keep them lighter rather than darker. And then I'm going to go over these lines. Same pen, but it'll give you those shadows. I do have to go over several times, as you can see. And then with the little kid, I just did the same color just to make it easy for me, because I wanted to get this done pretty quickly. And actually, oftentimes, the fewer colors you use, the nicer your whole thing's going to look anyway, especially when you're doing something as simple as this. Now, I did not care for the color of the hair I got on the child. So we'll probably do something else there. And I actually went over those pants with that balmy blue, but then realized, oh, that's just blending in way too much. So we'll put a little green there instead. And it almost looks like she has some or she has some sunglasses on, which is good. Kind of like that. All right, then. So we're going to go with our eggshell. E50 is eggshell. We'll see what that looks like on his shirt. It's a little bit pale. So we'll throw in some soft sea foam. Okay, I'm just sort of, you just keep coloring till you like what you get. That's sometimes the method I use. I'm sorry, I'm not very exact. I know I used some yellow on this one. I know exactly what I did with this shirt. In fact, I have it written down. I used Spectrum EB2. Let's see what that one is. It's I know it's one we used. Oh, it's the Spectrum one. That's why I wasn't getting it. So this one's natural brown. But you know what? When I used it, it was coming out, it was too brown. I didn't really like using it. That's why I didn't pull it out this time. So I'm going to just keep going over it with this more pinky one. And we're going to just keep going till we get the color. I don't want it to match his skin perfectly, but I don't really want it to be too terribly different either. Okay, so now I'll bring out my yellow. This is probably Daffodil Delight. Yes, it is the light Daffodil Delight. And then that will just give us some yellow in his shirt, so he's not quite, it doesn't quite match his skin. And then here's where I'm going to be able to go over my lines a little bit more too. Okay. All right, so we've played around enough with that. That's fine. And this shirt, we'll just make it yellow and have done with it. Because I don't want to spend forever on his shirt. And his hat. His hat. We'll do it with a darker. This is the darker Daffodil Delight. So we'll start with that, and then we'll use our eggshell. Oops, I got the wrong tip side. As you can see, they all have different tips. And then also, with that sand one, it's a perfect name for it because, if I can find it, no, that's eggshell. Where's that sand one that I had out? There it is. This one is what we're going to use here on this sand. So I only went as high as this because I had a little spot on my card and I wanted to disguise that spot. So I really didn't need to go up that high. But you're just kind of putting in a little bit of color for your sand. And following the shadow theory, you know. Okay, there we go. we don't need it for this because we only get to see the top part of his body. So we only needed it for that. And then I used my aqua, where is it? I might not have gotten that one out. Well, we will use Pool Party. This is Light Pool Party, and we're just going to use that on the chair. Okay, there you go. And now we're almost done with these two cards. I'm going to set these aside and pull these out. And we'll give the kid blonde hair this time. And we'll try to darken it up a little bit. Okay, so you get a nice pointy edge with these two, which is kind of nice, but it actually isn't that great because it's so fat. It's chiseled, obviously, I suppose. I don't even know, but I actually prefer Stampin' Up's. Got their fat end works the same, but their little tip at the end is much more manageable, so I actually prefer that. All right, so that's for all of that. And let me go grab some burlap ribbon. Now, we have this burlap ribbon in the Stampin' Up! Catalog right now, and I am so glad that it did not retire because this is actually one of my favorites. It goes with all kinds of great projects. So, let's get it the right length. When I did it before, it was just a little shorter than I wanted. And then you want to trim your ribbon so it's like that. And then we'll get this one here too. Oh, good. I got that about right. It's close. So Mary Crow, I don't know if you're still there, but did you hear that I got our window done? So if anybody goes to our, I haven't got it up yet, but on the Tri-City Crow Garden page, because I keep up my little garden blog up there, eventually I will put a picture of our nice new garden window in our shed. We have a new garden window, and it's actually a bay window and a new door, because our old door on our shed never shut. It was always shut, never open, or shut, halfway shut, leave it open sort of door. Hi, Heather. It's nice to see you. Because this door, oops, I forgot I'm not supposed to be showing my adhesive that I'm using here, but pardon me while I do, because I have to use this and let it dry. So if you use this nameless adhesive, let it dry, and then when you stick it together, it is going to adhere very permanently. And it also is not going to be as messy as some kinds are. And so I need to let those two little glue spots dry, and then I'm going to put our dimensionals on the back of, probably not mini dimensionals. Let's see if I can find some regular sized dimensionals. There we go. Put these on the back of our label. And we're gonna blow on this and hopefully get that dry quickly. It'll dry very shortly. And then I'm gonna peek at my card and see. Now on this one, I did put this little label on the back. And that is our everyday label punch. And so let's just grab a piece of my old wood DSP out. We'll use that. I used something else, I know, with the other one, but this isn't going to be big enough for my oval. So I suppose I could always just trim it around. I did do that with this one, but you can, my trimming is very lacking. I have a larger, you can see it's really a roughed edge. It doesn't look that great. And I thought, well, it's fine because it's a guy's card. But the larger oval die is quite big. So that didn't work. And I didn't have an exact, thank you, Freddie, for not telling. So I don't know. I think I'll just leave it. If I really wanted a brown edge, I could always just do this, you know, and then that would give me, especially if I used a darker color. Of course, this is not going to even show at all. And then now that I've started, I have to complete it. But this would give me a little bit of brown on the edge. It kind of works. It's good. It's good. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. Because it's a blending pen, of course, it bleeds in, gives me an effect I don't necessarily want. Okay, so now that these are almost dry, they're not quite dry yet. I do need those to dry, so I'm going to just set that aside for a second. And we're not quite done with those, but we will be very shortly. And then I can get started on my last one. This is going to be a real quickie because I wanted to run through my magnolia again. And only because, I'm sorry, if you've already seen it and you don't want to do it again. This one is, the leaf is kind of tricky to color using our blending pens. So I wanted to make sure that we're using our blending pens, and I'm looking around thinking, where did I put all of the stamp sets that I was using today? Because I had them all out and thought they were right here, and now I don't see my magnolia stamp set, and I don't think I put it away, but it's possible. If I did, I'm definitely not doing it because I don't know where the heck it would be. There it is. So there we go, right here. My goodness. It's a big one. This is a two stamp case set. And it barely fits on this. I kind of need my Stamparatus to, this is the largest clear block that I have. And the other thing about these sticky ones is that they actually can fit on if you've got a big wood block like I always have handy, because I have a bunch of wood blocks laying around, it almost fits on my largest one. Not quite. I might actually have another even larger block. This is one of my old ones. I'll just use that because I don't want to get out my Stamparatus right now. And I'm going to just use the early espresso again to ink it up. Okay, so you're going to see me. You're thinking, why is she? Well, I'm telling you, your wood stamps, they're very useful, aren't they? I can use it like this, and it's not a big deal because I don't really care about placement. I just need to make sure it gets a good image down. Now, if I was doing it with my Stamparatus, then I could move the plate and all, but see, that worked out pretty well. And I do just want to get it off my block quickly, though, because I don't want it there permanently. This is not a stamp that I normally would use to do that with. Okay, so now we're done with that. These are all the things you're not supposed to probably see, but this is a stamper at work in her natural habitat. You just make do with what you have handy. Okay, so there we go. And I believe these are done, so we're going to stick them on. So now you just stick this together. Oh, where's my glue? It sort of disappeared on me. That's funny. There, okay. It should stick together pretty well. Oh, I forgot to put it on the back. Phooey, because I do need to have it on the back also, or it will not stick. I guess I could use another dimensional. On this, it probably will work fine. All right, so we get that there. And then we'll put the big one there. And get these out of the way. And then since I've already made my Father's Day cards, I am going to use this in a different way. I'll probably use this with a birthday or a, just encouragement card. But because it bleeds through, I am going to cut it off and I'm going to just put it on another white card. I'm not going to do another border. You could, if you had another nice wood border, brown border, it'd probably look great, or even this yellow, but I actually think I kind of want to stick with it being simple. All right, there's my other ribbon. So we'll press this together. I waited too long. It worked great yesterday. Now it doesn't want to cooperate, or else I'm just not sticking it in the same. There we go. You just got to get the glue has to be where it was glued. It doesn't stick if it's not where it was originally stuck. Okay, that. And oh, I forgot. I was going to put this on this brown backing. There's my husband. He's home. Huh? I'm doing my Facebook thing. And yeah, so if he comes in, you could actually meet him. But I don't want him to see the cards I'm making for him. So let's see. There. And those are done. Okay. Now, so with your Magnolia, Good Morning Magnolia, I used, let's get out my cheat sheet here. I used light Old Olive and the light Mossy Meadow. Make sure it's the right one. Oh, that's dark Old Olive. That's not it. This is, and I used light Granny Apple Green, I think, too. No, not. Light Seafoam. That one's going to go on the top, if I can find it. I know it's here. There we go. There's light Mossy Meadow, and this is the light Soft Seafoam. So these are the three I'm going to use for just the leaf. And when you begin, just use your dark Mossy Meadow. It's going to be the darkest. And use this super fine tip. And you're going to just find all the darkest lines that your image has, because that's where your shadow is. And it's going to look bad at first. And it's fine. You want to make sure these areas in the middle are going to stay white. Do not put any ink on those at first. Well, and obviously not with this, because I'm going from dark to light. You could go from light to dark, but it's harder. You have to kind of know what you're doing, and I don't. I'm just sort of faking it. So it's a little time consuming because this is a very big image, but you get the idea. I'm just finding all of the artist's lines, and I'm just not redrawing them, because I am actually going to color in a little bit, but not a lot, because I still have that other darker one to do. So this is going to be the darker area. Wherever you know that the sun would not be hitting, it's going to be the darkest. Okay. So that's going to be the end of my dark or light Mossy Meadow. Now this is the light olive green, the light Old Olive, and I'm going to just go around the edges, but I'm leaving the center clear. I'm going to go through the very center, but the part where the sun would be hitting the curved part of your leaf, right here, the sun's going to be hitting that the most because it's closest to the sun. So I'm leaving that white. Oops, I didn't mean to color that. Oh well, I did. Okay, Okay. The thing about the blending pens, they're very forgiving. So if you don't like what you've got, you can always go back over it. Hi, Linda. I do too. This magnolia is beautiful. So when I first used the soft sea foam as my highlighting part, I didn't like it because it has a lot more blue in it. And I thought it didn't look right at all. But if you let it dry, it actually works pretty good. When I went back to it and looked at it later, I thought, wow, that actually doesn't look bad. So there's some of it that I really would like to leave white, but it's not going to happen because it's such a different hue, because it does have a lot of blue in it, I can't. If it was a closer match to these greens, I could actually leave some white right here. Just a little thin strip. Strips kind of going in this direction. Little thin strips of white. And that would actually give me a better highlight than this. But because it's a different color, I'm going to just color it all in. But it still looks pretty good. Okay, so those are your leaves. Okay, so as that dries, you're going to see that that's going to look even a little better. And if there are some spots that you think, I don't really think that looks very good, you can always darken parts of it back up again. It's a lot easier to darken things up than it is to light. So okay. And then for the, I haven't got my Rococo Rose blending pens yet. But if I had them, I would use them for this flower, because I think that what I'm going to come up with here in this moment is exactly what we would get if I had light Rococo Rose. I'm actually going to use my Copic R20 and my RV 52. So this is Red Violet 52, Cotton Candy, and this one is Blush R20, and also this Red Violet 10, which is pale pink. So these are the ones I'm going to use. But if I had Rococo Rose, I would be using it, because I'm going to use this Rococo Rose paper under it. And so if I had my Rococo Rose, I would start with the darker one. And the numbers, the higher the number, the darker the color. So I know this one is going to be the darkest. So I will start by putting this one in. And this, I can see right now, this is not even the shade that I want, but it'll work out as I go. So again, just following the lines of the artist who did this beautiful flower. It's nice when they put the shading in for you, and then because I'm not an artist, I don't know where shadow and light is. I can kind of tell when they add it in for me. I can kind of tell. I still am not very good at it. There are probably people with YouTube videos that have, well, I know there are people that have a lot of really good information if you're interested in coloring. And then with this R20 is going to be even a little darker too. So I probably will just stick with the very edges here on that. I love flowers. We've got all of our roses blooming right now. Oh man, they smell. The whole yard smells so good. It's, even though it's hot out there, I want to go out and smell it. Now, so this is RV10. So this one's very light. I think we can just go for the whole thing with it. And if I leave some white on the highest portion of the petals, then and then I can see if I want to go back over it and and darken it up again, or if it's good. Sometimes if you just leave it light, it'll be good white. You don't even have to color it in. Okay, so I left these edges white, and I don't want to color those in, but I do need to blend it in a little bit. So here's where your color lifter comes in really handy. Let me see if I've got it out. Okay, so the color lifter, let's give it a try. Sometimes I have a grayish cast with it, so I have to be a little careful with it. I don't really want any gray here. It actually is a color, and I'm doing this to clean it. I'm going to cut this out, so I don't care if I have spots up there. This will just kind of blend in my, because I'm using my color lifter, all the spots that I left white, and just kind of using it as a blending pen. Now, we have a blending pen, it's called a blender pen. Stampin' Up's blender pen is for its markers. I don't think it works with the alcohol pens. I think it's just for our Stampin' Right markers. But I haven't used it. I tried to find them. I know I have. I think they come in a 2-pack, and I had them. I think I have them, but when I looked, I couldn't find them. So anyway, I really like this color lifter. It works really well. Let me take my R00 and just maybe do a little bit of extra right here. This is actually very close to our petal pink, our light petal pink. If you want to see it, very close to it. It's a little lighter, not much. Now, somebody else said they just keep coloring until it looks good, and that actually is what you're doing, as long as you remember to leave some of your white void spaces. But if you keep coloring until it looks good, sometimes you find that you've not left any of your white edges, and that's the only problem with that method. Okay, so that's that. I think you're gonna just use Mango Medley or Daffodil Delight in the center, and I would probably put Wink of Stella on that because it always looks better with a Wink of Stella. And I think that's it for today. So I hope that you guys have a great week. I'm on still. Oh good, I actually am on still. I'm shocked because my camera went nuts. All right, so you guys have a great week, and I will do my drawing tomorrow, and stay cool and enjoy the day, and then I will be back Monday at 1 o'clock, and thank you for tuning in, even though this is not the day I normally do this. I will see you on Wednesday. Thank you, Linda. You can see I'm pretty warm. It is warm in here, but when Jeff came in, he said it is like an iceberg in here or a freezer or something. It's much cooler in here than it is outside. So you have a great week. Bye.